Shirt show. All right, let's go.
Shirt show! Talking shirt! Shirt show! Talking shirt! Shirt show! Talking shirt! Shirt show! Shirt man!
All right! Episode 183 of Shirt Show. Andy is back. What more do you need to know? Let's go!
Okay. I think we got it.
Well, I signed in. I forgot I was still logged in as you. So
Yeah, it said Andy over there.
yeah, I didn't want.
There's two of me.
Yeah, it can't be two Andys. So I figured I'd sign out, come back in.
There's only one Andy. There's only one Dylan. So
Look at you.
look at you. We've talked, but we haven't
seen each other's faces.
I know you look beautiful, man.
Thanks. You too.
Your hair is getting so long.
Oh, it was way longer. I actually cut it recently, so I cut all the sides
I
and
like
left
it.
some top.
You're doing a good job. Like you're doing better than the barber did.
Yeah.
Oh, keep it up.
What's going on? How are you?
First, 2 words. Pillow cube.
Mm-hmm.
Dude,
Do you like it?
I like it. Yeah.
Okay,
I only
good.
used it once, so I don't know. But yeah, I ordered one on Black Friday. It was half off. I don't know. It's probably always like half off, but it was $60 maybe. I want to say.
That's
Oh.
pretty cheap. I think it was like 100 and
Okay.
something when I bought it, maybe 110.
Oh, are we recording?
I miss you.
We haven't done this for a while. I don't know. This is.
I hope you have no pants on.
I don't have pants
Better?
on. I have shorts on.
Right. Just airing it out.
Yeah. But I think the pillow cube is for sort of what you said. If you're sleeping on your side, then it's great. You know, like
Mhm.
if you're I actually used it. I was on my back and I used it when I was looking at my computer and stuff like that. It still works, but it's hot.
Mhm.
You know, it's like this. It's 5 inches or something.
Yeah.
hmm
5 inches is so big.
It's huge.
Yeah.
But dude, it feels so good to be here mentally and to be doing this. I've never spent 5 weeks at home before, like at home, you know, like
hmm
not going anywhere. I made a couple of trips to like, you know, Trader Joe's and things like that after a few weeks.
Walking to CVS.
I walked to CVS. I tried to walk to CVS on day 5 after surgery, and I only made it to the front of so
I remember.
you know that there's a CVS maybe half mile from our house or something like that. And I tried to do it, but in order to get there, you have to kind of walk up a hill. And I was just like, I couldn't do it. And so I waited 2 more days. And on day 7, Joe and I walked to CVS proudly and we celebrated. Yeah.
I'm happy for you.
But it's like it's a day-to-day type of thing. And overall though, so much better.
hmm
And I am so happy that I'm not in constant pain anymore, but it's still like a road, like it's a long road, you know,
Yeah,
recovery
you're
from this thing. But
Well, first of all, I'm super fucking happy you're back. I've missed you. The listeners have missed you. I've gotten a million messages asking how you
Stop.
are or
stop.
all these things. And I'm just glad you're here. You know,
Well, thank you. And I missed you too. And I also wanted to thank Christina and TC and Mimosa.
Yeah.
Well, Mimosa probably fucked it up, but you know, the other two did
it's
a
good.
great job. I haven't heard it yet, but I'm sure it will be.
Christina
good.
times 2. Tyler was fantastic. Alex was fantastic. They stepped up to help, you know.
They did. Like this show means so much to us, and it's so freaking awesome of them to like step up, like you said, and fill in. And seriously, thank you guys for doing
Yeah.
that.
It was great.
So like, how's Upstate? We don't talk about that too much. We like when you call me, which is like once I think over 5 weeks.
hmm
We talk
And
about other
it
stuff.
was on accident. It was about dial.
I was so excited. I was like, oh fuck, Dylan, hey! And you're like, who's this?
Yeah, who is this? Oh, I heard a small mouse noise in my pocket and figured I would pick it up.
Yeah.
Upstate's great. Things are really good, really busy. I'm having some bottlenecks and some some things, but we're getting through it. I mean, we kind of talked about it a little bit the other day. Just so many large orders that want to be full service, like printed, folded, bag tagged, stickers, everything. So I'm trying to navigate that whole mess, but
It's so weird when you have a print shop and you are really great at printing shirts. And then also now you have to be a bagging and tagging and fulfillment type of place. And that's seriously like a different business altogether.
which is
And you
fine.
have
Like
to-
it's totally doable. It's just we get it once in a while, not consistently. It's not like we had customers before where it was like every job had to be, and even if it is, it's like 100 pieces, 500 pieces, whatever. But we have a couple customers now that are like, oh yeah, we want this folded, bag tagged, and ready for 3PL. And there was some fucking weird request, which again, like I might say weird, and other people are like, yeah, that's normal. But they were like, we want everything separately boxed, like all the smalls in one box, all the mediums in another box, whatever, which is fine. Like that's cool. But like if they have an order where it's like 10 smalls, 20 mediums, they say it's 100 shirts and they want it all separate boxes. Like this is stupid. And I'm telling the company, I'm like, you're going to spend so much in fucking shipping if we're going to send, instead of one box, we're sending 8 boxes. So what I ended up doing is I ended up buying these dividers. They're like 11 by 17 cardboard pieces, which I guess you could just cut up like Gildan boxes or whatever. But I just bought these things. It was kind of easy and pretty cheap. So I would just do like smalls, and then I would put the cardboard dividers in the box, and then do mediums, put the cardboard dividers in the box, because I get it. 3PL wants to just like open the box and be like, grab it, throw it on the shelf. They don't want to have to fucking rifle through them. So it seems to be working out. 0 complaints. So I'm pretty stoked on that. But other than that, everything's good. The only issues I'm really having are issues we're going to talk about today. So
yeah, I think one of the things with what you were talking, or we were talking about earlier with this whole fulfillment thing, is that what also is challenging for you is that you have basically people on it full time now instead of sometimes, like sometimes people could help out and bag and tag, but now it's almost like full weeks worth of bagging and tagging. And that's a whole different role really than sometimes helping out.
Yeah, we've been bagging and tagging straight for like over a month. Like 2 people out there just folding, bagging, tagging all day long.
Which is a great problem to have, but it's still a problem, right? I mean,
the problem isn't this. I mean, there's solutions, obviously. Like there's equipment that does these things easily. Problem is I don't have room for them. So we're doing it a little bit the hard way, but it is what it is. We'll get there.
I get it. So let's see what's going on in SureCon. I have no fucking clue.
You haven't been there.
We haven't been here. I do know that the car wash is open next door now, and the exit for the cars is right, 40 feet from my office window here. And so when the door, there's a like overhead door, that's closed. And when the car gets up to it, it opens. And that's right where the dryer is, and it turns on.
The jet of air. Yeah.
Right. Everything. I can almost feel the jet over here. Can you hear it right now?
It's going right now?
Yeah.
No.
Okay, good. I have this in so I don't have the noise canceling on, but I can still hear it.
All right. Real life question though. How many times did the shop contact you while you were gone?
With issues? Never a phone call. Let me see. There were a few texts. There were a few emails. One time there was a customer that. Have you ever had a customer that tells you that your digital proofs stink and that there's not enough information on it, and they wanted exact measurements because there was a sleeve, I think, and then they wanted it exactly down on every single size of a certain spot, and there's like whoa, and so we redid that order and it was an embroidery, and I don't know, maybe there were 10 or 12 pieces, but. What we ended up doing is change that customer in the profile to you're just doing physical proofs because our digital proofs are only so good and they're going to only tell you so much information, and why don't you just come here in person and see it, try it on, and so where it falls and all this kind of stuff. Certain people are very
Dickheads.
Pacific.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Specifically dickheads.
And they wanted how they wanted. And so I was like, look, let's just replace them and just tell them that let's do physical proofs because we can only communicate so much on a digital proof.
Yep. I get it.
So we did that. That was like one time. That wasn't like a phone call though. So you know how we use Missive? It's like it's on top of Outlook. And so like somebody can tag me in an email from a customer and I can read it and then I can reply. Like it's almost like Slack too, but it's in an email system. Does that make sense? Maybe a little bit. Anyway, so that's how we communicated through that. And it was just a series of like back and forth. And so I wasn't doing that like the first week or anything. That was after,
Right. So it sounds like they have it under control.
So I can't even tell you how much or how proud I am of the team here and how much they killed it because, I couldn't have been gone for 5 weeks and without everyone like that in every single spot, like they held down the fort in every single spot. It's amazing. Like I really am grateful. And like, it's not like I'm back now because I'm not coming in like full time or anything. I can't, I need like 10 weeks or something. And so, at least. And so I'm coming in sometimes, like when I came in on Friday, I've only been here once and that was on a couple of days ago on Friday. And I was here for, I think 3 hours, and I'm standing. And so I can only stand so long before it starts to kind of bother me. And so that's that. And I think, it's good. It's really, really good mentally to be like doing something again, because it's fine to do nothing for a little bit.
I'm glad that the one thing you chose to do was me.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
it's a given.
Yeah.
Like a giant teddy bear.
Obviously.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. Should we get into, should we talk sponsors and then get into the show?
Talk sponsors and then we'll get into what we're going to get into.
All right. Look at this thing.
I know. There's no substitute for the original. Everyone else had this like little hand-drawn thing.
I mean, that's like, look at that.
It's
a work of art.
It's a work of art.
Look at how the corners are all. I remember how to do this, so I kind of just touch it. I just want me to touch it.
Yeah, just make sure you touch it near the top and you gentle, not fast all at once.
Kind of rusty.
Well, I've been handling your parts. And
you've been doing fabulous.
Handling the other parts.
You've been doing fabulous. You're such a good reader. I'm proud of you.
You know what's funny is like I honestly would read through them, and I was proud of myself at like how I could read through them like without being like the thing, like just like idiot reading. But I think the reason why I could blaze through them was because I just know them. Like I'm barely reading it. Like I'm just kind of refreshing myself with the text. So,
well, you did great. I had somebody text me and said, "Hey, Shirt Show needs one person that can read, and you're the guy." So hurry back. And I don't really even do a very good job. So anyway,
cool.
Yeah, cool. It all starts with the screen, and whether it's new stretches or restretches, Frank and his team do it the best. To find out more, go to graphicscreenfashion.com, FFFFF.
Rank.com.
Or
greatfuckingscreens.com.
Which, by the way, Frank called me every single day. Every single day, sometimes multiple times.
In the shower.
Yep. He cares.
It's just a great guy. Yeah.
He's fucking awesome. Cleaning screens is no fun, but EasyWay makes it way more funner. Their line of eco-friendly chemicals will make reclaiming screens a whole lot easier. Check them out at easyway.com. EasyWay.
It's the easiest way, baby.
I talked to Alex a few times too. Everybody cared. Everybody, like so many people. Thank you. Like whoever texted me or messaged Dylan, and then Dylan screenshotted it and messaged me, and people who stopped by, people who sent me, I got, fucking Jonathan Success sent me a really expensive DoorDash. And I don't even know how to use DoorDash. I've never used it. I don't even have the app. So I'm
That's thoughtful.
gonna give it to you.
Cool. Thanks.
Mm-hmm. No, we'll have to use it together. But yeah, so thanks everyone. Graphic Source is your source for production ready digital art and remote art staffing. Go to graphicsource.com to learn more about what they offer and let them run your art department so you can focus on running your.
Oh.
What was that? I didn't quite hear it. Choosing the right emulsion is complicated, and that's why we love Chromaline. Go to chromaline.com to watch Kev's vids or contact him on Instagram at the Emulsion Guru and get the answers you need. True. Howard.
Yeah.
Yeah. You've been using them a lot.
A fuck ton.
Apparently. And which I didn't know. You told me once before, but I totally forgot you can have them cut it too, like already cut. It's a beautiful thing. If you're not using DTF or screen print transfers in your shop, you're doing it all wrong. We partnered with Howard Custom Transfers to get you the transfer you need fast. Check them out at howardct.com.
The best.
Today, we are going to talk about our Long Beach seminar. So for those of you who do not know, Dylan and I are presenting, or what would you call it, hosting our very first seminar at a trade show.
Right. Like the actual seminars you sign up for, not like you're just going to find us out on the show floor kind of thing. Like this is where they apparently think they put smart people and smart people talk about things. And I think they fucked up with us, but we're doing it. And I had to, truth be told, I had the fucking DocuSign in my inbox forever. And I got a reminder every single day to
Did you do it yet?
Sign my life away, apparently. Did
you sign?
I did. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
So they must have meant to check no on our application, but they accidentally checked yes. And so we have a seminar, and here's what it's titled. It's kind of scary. Strategies for Thriving in the Labor Crisis, Navigating the Challenges and Opportunities. It sounds like there's a crisis.
I feel like it's yeah. There's no way to describe what we want to talk about, I feel like.
Well, they have a description. Let me try. It's kind of long, but I want everyone to know what we came up with. And as a group, everyone did. And so here is the description. Beginning with the pandemic and continuing into the foreseeable future, it has become increasingly challenging to add and retain employees. We will share ideas on building and retaining strong teams using both robotic and human resources. Topics include hiring, firing, promoting, culture, shop environment, compensation, benefits, robots, and automations. Here's the greatest part. We didn't write this, obviously. Hear from industry experts and the founders of the Shirt Show podcast, Andy Rudman and Dylan Gilligan, for practical and proven strategies to help you not just survive, but thrive in your business. How's that sound?
Sounds so fucking legit, and we're going to bomb so fucking hard.
It's going to be talking about hot dogs, basically.
So really what we're asking you to do is we're asking you to sign up on the ISS website when you get your tickets, sign up for our little thing here and watch us fail horribly.
But wait, don't forget, when you sign up, I think it's like $60, but if you use Shirt Show 25, you get 25% off. How much is that? 25% off. 60.
We just established how neither of us can read. You think we can do fucking math?
It's like $100 off or something.
Yeah, it's basically free. Just do it.
But yeah, so use Shirt Show 25 when you sign up as the promo code, and then come see us. Come hang out. I think they said there's about 100 spots, and it's filling up. So you're gonna be in Long Beach.
Just come hang out. Yeah,
it's Saturday at 1. Yeah, 1 o'clock.
I don't fucking know, dude. What are you asking me for?
Well, we should. We got to be there. So
we should know. Honestly, we should know. Yeah, we've been kind of working on it. You've been putting together Excel sheets or whatever the fuck you've been putting together, and we've been spitballing ideas.
What have you been doing again?
Talking to you. I have all the ideas. You just have the fucking.
Oh, that's right. That's right. You got the
spreadsheets.
brains. I got the brawn.
Yeah.
All right. So here's the thing. So kind of
Hold on.
here's.
I want to pause real quick. Okay.
Okay. You mean?
I don't know
what do
how
you mean?
much we can talk about it yet, but I do want to mention about Long Beach as well.
Oh.
You ready?
You want to hype it up, like for real? Like this is on
Well,
the
I just want to
episode?
talk about it. I want people to know.
What if it
So
doesn't
for those of
happen?
you who've gone to Long Beach the last couple of years, this will be our third annual
Mhm.
shirt show happy hour.
Yes.
So the first year we did it, it was great. A ton of people came out. It was great. Second year we did it, we fucking annihilated that place. And there was way too many people. And it was still a ton of fun, but there was a lot of people. And then this year, Gildan and Live Nation reached out to us and wanted to sponsor the happy hour. So that being said, we're looking for a venue that'll fit people. And there's going to be live music. There's going to be drinks and snacks and
Like an activation. So like I think there's going to be a up and coming, like a breakout,
artists playing.
and then we're going to collab on the merch somehow.
Yeah,
Right?
we were talking about doing, I mean, there's a lot of things on the table that we're talking about, but realistically, our biggest thing in these meetings of like, hey, we want to do this thing, but how do we do it cool? But also, I was very stern on the reason why we did what we did is because we didn't want it to be this like salesy, come to a thing, we're going to pitch you on whatever. It's literally just what it has been. It's a hangout. So whatever day we pick after the show, come to it, hang out. It'll be, you know, booze and food and a band playing.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, you can't fucking beat it. So come hang out with us. We'll figure out all the signups. We'll figure out all that stuff. I just wanted to tease it on here that we are working on it and it should be awesome.
Absolutely. 1,000%.
So keep an eye
All right.
out. I'll post about it when we get it ironed out, but it's coming.
Okay. So the episode. So we made this, what is it called? Form
Survey.
on Google. Yeah. And when it says like a survey, and we sent it out to a few text groups, to our Discord, and put it on our story. And we have some responses, and we thought we'd just go through the questions and sort of talk about them. And why we did this is because according to the US Census, the labor market is short 2 million workers. A closer look at what has happened, and I'm stealing this right from the US Census or US Chamber of Commerce website, but a closer look at what has happened to the labor force can be described as the Great Reshuffle. While quit rates remain high, hiring rates continue to outpace them as many workers have been transitioning to other jobs in search of these three things. Ready? Number one, an improved work-life balance. Number two, increased compensation. And number three, a strong company culture. So we want to find out like if shops are feeling this, you know, like what their opinions are in their different markets of what it's like hiring people and I guess retaining people, you know, like how important or how challenging is it for them right now, currently.
Right.
So we sent out the survey and I thought it'd be really cool. So give me one sec.
Don't click on personal banking.
This is so wild. Am I doing a good job or terrible job? I can't decide.
You're fantastic.
All right. So we have a shirt show labor market survey that we sent out
Today.
And we have 34 responses. So there's I guess it's like a decent sized group. It's not huge. It's not small. It's an okay sample, I would say. And the first question we asked was, what is the current size of your team? And so you can see on here that it breaks it out because I think that matters. That matters how you handle HR and how you hire and all those sort of things, right? And so for those of you who are listening and not watching, I think it's pretty interesting because a third of the shops are between 1 and 10 as far as how big their team is. And then approximately a third is between 11 and 20. And then the next group it's 17%, and that's 21 to 30. And then what is this percentage?
They're just smaller pieces of the pie.
smaller pieces of the pie, there's 31 to 40, and then 40 plus is 8.8%. And so this is kind of how it breaks out. So are you hiring or will you be hiring in the spring? And if so, how many? Dylan, what do you think of this?
So the majority of the pie is they're going to be hiring at least 1 to 2 people.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other 2 are pretty equal. It's 3 to 4 and 5 plus people. Or no, sorry, 5 plus is not on there.
Oh, no is actually
no
20%.
Is like a good amount. And then the other 20% is 3 to 4. I mean, I don't want to just spit statistics here. I think we should just talk about our own. Scroll up. What was the first one again?
How large the shop? How many people? Current team?
Oh, current team. Okay.
Yeah, I think this is pretty telling, though, is that, will you be hiring in the near future? Like, is that something you're going to be doing? And 20% of the people said, no, they're not going to. And then 60%, well, 58.8 said they're going to be hiring between 1 and 2. And then 20% said 3 and 4. Nobody said 5 plus. I think that if you are going to be hiring 3 or 4 people, how are you going to find those people? Like for you, for example, you need to hire, what was your answer?
I don't remember, but I think it was the 3 to 4.
Really? And so how are you going to go about finding them? That's a challenge, right? Because you live in this smaller town and your labor pool. Well, I mean, it's hard.
Yeah. I think to touch on that, to kind of talk about our own experiences in this is just kind of like, I guess what kicks all this off is that we were talking about COVID. Well, our presentation kind of talked about since the pandemic. And I think it just woke a lot of people up. Like it like kicked the beehive basically.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of people had the option to work from home, or they had to rethink like, oh, fuck, like even us, we think about, oh, jobs stop coming in, but our employees that aren't us think about, am I secure? Like, do I have a job? What am I supposed to do when we're not working for 2 months and like all this other stuff? So I think a lot of people, we went years and years and years of just like, go home, go to bed, wait for tomorrow. And then when the pandemic came, they were like, oh, fuck, like I actually have a chance now to like rethink my life and think about, like you said, like, work-life balance and how much money I'm making and all these things. So I think that, I mean, it's been hard to look, and Christina kind of opened my eyes to this a little bit too, where it was kind of like, I didn't want to come on here and just be heated and be like, oh, fucking nobody wants to work and nobody wants to fucking do this. And people are idiots and they want more money and blah, blah, blah. And the truth of it is just like, we've been trying to hire somebody basically since the pandemic, like not just somebody, multiple people.
You mean for like the past 3 years, there's like help wanted, like you're hiring at all times.
It's been constant. Yeah. Because the thing is like, I've been navigating this just like every other print shop or every other business I know, where basically like we're getting people in and then we're hearing all these things of like, I want, like they're demanding shit like right off the bat. Like forever before that, it was like, oh, hey, do you want to work at a cool print shop? And we do blah, blah, blah. And we're like rad people and like all this other stuff. And it's like, people come here and they work and they either work out or they don't. But most of the time they just come, they get paid, they go home. And now people don't want it. That's not what they're looking for. They don't want to just come have a job and go home. Like they want like stability and they want to know that they're making a good wage and they're doing all these things. So I think I've been kind of navigating it and trying to figure this out a little bit backwards in the idea of just like, man, fucking people suck. Like we've talked about this on the show for the last like 3 years about how like people just, like not necessarily people suck, but like kind of like, why are we getting all these shit people? And why are we getting all these weirdos that don't want to work? And, they kick in the door and say, give me $25 an hour and full benefits and blah, blah, blah. And I mean, to a degree, like it goes insane. Like, it's like, you can't just start at a job and immediately demand that. There's been people here for years that don't have that. And it's like, so I feel like it's trying to find the happy medium. So I think, back to this question is it's kind of like, are you hiring and will you be hiring? I just feel like it's always yes. Like, I mean, it's weird. I mean, it's not weird, but some people on here just say no, but I don't know if those people are just like have their tiny crew and they're cool with it, or if they're, what's up, what's what. But I feel like people are just always going to be hiring at this point.
Yeah. 7 people said no. And out of the 34, 20 said hiring 1 to 2. So I think you're right. I think now the shift was that people now, if they're going to go to work, they want it to be meaningful to some degree. They want it to be something that they don't hate and dread going to. So like they sit out in the car before they come in and they just want to blow their brains out. They want to go somewhere.
I'm sorry for laughing at that.
It's like a meme, but they want to go somewhere and work on something cool and work with cool people and then get compensated fairly, and so that they can pay their bills. And I think that, and if you're not getting that, if they're not going to get that at that place, well, then they're going to look somewhere else. And so I think that's why what we have to try and provide. We do happen to have a pretty cool industry. Like we print t-shirts. So you just have to make sure that they're working with cool people and that you're compensating them. Let's go to the next question. So here's there's some, oh God. Yeah. This is great. I don't know if it's in here, but there's some questions that are really good. So what is one active thing that you do to attract new applicants? And so, what do you do actively? Do you post on Facebook? Do you post on Indeed? Do you post, where are you finding, where are you recruiting? How are you getting people to actually show up and apply? On your website, do you have a spot where you can apply? It always, like we used to have the spot for quality control that we never took down. It was up for probably 3 years. You could go on there and submit an application directly from a website at any time of the day, 24/7. But here's some of the answers. What's one active thing? Health benefits, PTO, competitive pay. This person says our posts on social media are deliberate and acts as 2 platforms to align with the type of clients we want to attract and the type of individuals that would probably thrive in our work environment. Taking care of current employees so they can be excited and tell their friends. What do you think of that? Do you get a lot of people that just come from friends of people who are working there currently?
Yes, but I feel like that's always a nightmare. Not always, but like a majority of the time, I feel like when you're hiring a friend of a friend, then they lean on each other at work. And if that person doesn't work out, then the person you already had is pissed off that you have to fire that person. And it's just kind of like,
right.
I don't know. Again, like I'm coming at this, like trying not to be bitter because of the old ways that things were, but like, I don't know how to describe this so I don't sound like a dickhead, but it's kind of like, I just want to hire someone and have them I want to respect them and I want them to respect us and I want them to get the work done. And I feel like more and more I'm finding out that I kind of did wrong by just hiring all my friends because there's so many like feelings and HR involved that now
it gets complicated.
I just want to hire a rando. Like I want everyone we hire from now on to be a random person that just like has to
a stranger
grow and learn with us, a stranger. And then kind of like, if they work, cool. And they'll become part of the group. And if they don't, then it's easier to let them go.
Mm-hmm. All right. Here's some more. Ready? Community events and then Indeed. This one says we run Facebook ads and vet from there. Post on Facebook. Another one. Benefit packages. This is probably my favorite. I offer money in exchange for work.
That's literally what I want to say all the time.
Next, another Indeed. Then there's a social media Instagram post. So I've never posted on Instagram like that we're hiring. I have Facebook.
Yeah. I've done it before, but it never turns into anything because basically what it is a bunch of people that are all around the world that send a message like, oh, I wish I lived there.
Oh, right.
And it's like, I just want you to be like a mile away from the shop and say that you want to work here.
Right. Aggressive pay and full benefits, Facebook again, more social media posting, internships. That's good. I think we've had 2 internships from a local college that, in fact, they're working here now. Like they after their internship was done and they graduated, they became full-time. Speak highly of our
internships from high school,
college.
If they're going to college, why do they want to work at your screen printing shop?
Both of them were graphic design, like a media.
Okay.
And so they had to have, I think they needed some sort of a semester, like actual real world, type of thing. And so they came to work here. Higher wages, a career that you would enjoy. We talked about that a minute ago, like, making cool things. Have it be fun, not always like stressful, because we have stressful days here. And do you want to just work in a stress-packed environment every single freaking day? No. Healthcare, PTO, Starbucks. That's smart. Just give them Starbucks every day.
I'll tell you right now, that only goes so far.
Well, I mean, we have coffee here. It's not Starbucks, but it's probably better.
Coffee and snacks and all that stuff's cool. Like, we definitely have it, and it's great. And I like that we offer it to everybody, because it's, like I said, it's something they come in at 2:00 or whatever, and they need a snack to keep going and be good. But the other side of that coin is that they expect it. And then if it's not there, or the snacks aren't as good as they would like, then it's kind of like, oh, well, fuck this. And it's like, dude, you're getting free snacks. Like, chill out.
Well, I get our snacks at Costco, and we get kind of the same ones because we found out what everybody likes and everything. And like, I guess there's the basic core snacks, and then we switch out a few things. Pay well. That's a nice one. Sign on bonus. Sign on bonus. I've never done that. How about you?
No, thanks.
Well, your competitors are like, like over here at KFC, they used to have like, if you, work here, you get like $500 or whatever. You know what I mean? After you're there.
I don't want that to be the thing that people want to come here for. The thing is again, like, I hear a lot of these, I understand them. And I mean, I've always done the same thing. Like, I post on Facebook on my personal, and I see what comes. And then I post on the paid Facebook thing or whatever, where it's basically like the job fair kind of thing where people just start submitting stuff. But I think going forward, and I know it's shop size based and all this other stuff, like what kind of thing your industry you're printing for and whatever you're doing. But I think going forward, I want this to be, you want to work here because we're craftsmen and we're tradesmen, and we're like, you want to be here to make cool shit, print shit, learn a skill. And I don't know. I just don't like the whole, like, let's trick them to get here. And then
that's true.
They find out they fucking hate it here. And you're just like, well, I gave you a $2,000 sign-on bonus and you're here for X amount of time. And
that's a good point.
The only reason why you want to work here is because you get Starbucks. I don't know. I want to be honest and upfront with the people. And the funny thing is I don't want to get too off topic or anything, but I hired somebody new recently that has luckily worked out awesome. Like, she's been fucking amazing. And I honestly didn't want to hire her in the first part because she's kind of a relative. Like, she's married to my cousin. And I was like, I don't want this whole family thing, whatever. But she was the best qualified out of all the people that we interviewed. So I was just like, fuck it, let's do it. She's been amazing. And I had her in my office the other day, and I'd never really done this with a new hire. And I was just like, I'm kind of fucking burnt out on this. And I was just honest with her. I was just like, hey, like, I'm going to tell you straight up, like, this is how this is. This is how the environment is here. This is what we need you for. You've been working here for a couple of weeks. Everyone fucking has nothing but great things to say about you. And I was like, but I'm going to be honest as a boss. Like, I'm just like the other dudes here. Like, I'm not going to micromanage you. I'm not going to hover over you. I'm not going to yell at you. Like, I'm just like, that's not me. Like, I'm not that guy who's going to be like, get to fucking work. Stop talking on your phone, blah, blah, blah. I was like, but what I am is I'm going to see all these things, and I'm going to see things that you're doing if you're not doing them correctly. And I'm just going to slowly start to lose respect for you. Like, I just told her straight up, I was like, I'm not confrontational. I will not fucking bark orders at you.
What did she say?
I will get to a certain point where I just don't respect you because you're taking advantage of me or you're taking advantage of the team. And then we'll just let you go.
How did she reply to that?
She's like, oh, I get it. She's like, I get it. And I was like, I'm just being honest. Like, that's not me. Like, I'm not that guy. And I don't want that environment here. I don't want everyone to be at fear that fucking whatever. And I don't care if people are kind of like somewhat fucking around or joking around or having conversation. I care at like the output. And it's like, if you guys are joking around and doing fucking goofing off and drinking coffee, whatever. But I can see that like everything we wanted to get done today got done, and a bunch of invoices are written and all this other stuff. Then hell yeah, let's keep it up. But if I walk by your desk 10 times today and every time you're staring at the same screen and you're not typing, you're not doing anything, then I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? And I was just honest with her, and I feel like I feel like I really connected with her on like, this is what's happening here. You know what I mean? And I feel like if it's the, I'm not mad at you, I'm disappointed in you kind of speech, then it hits home of like, I don't want to disappoint him and I don't want to be fired later because I'm just not doing a good job. And she's like kind of part of the team.
Well, I don't want to disappoint you either. So I kind of work.
So work harder.
Yeah, I do. I'm going to get this next question going.
Okay.
Let's see. All right. So the next question is, what one passive thing do you do? And that's kind of what I meant by social media. I thought that not like an ad, you know what I mean? So it's not like you posted something on your Facebook feed or Instagram feed or story or whatever, a reel that says, hey, we're hiring. Just a passive thing to just show your story and share your day to day. Like share what's happening in your shop and make it look like you give a shit. Because if I think anymore, if I'm going to work somewhere and I'm trying to decide, and I went to some interviews and I'm trying to decide where I'm going to go work, I look at their social media and I say, well, what kind of place is that? Does it look cool? What are they doing every day? And so I think that, share that sort of thing.
I feel like that's something though that you shouldn't be thinking about in your head while you're doing it. Like if you're making, I just feel like it's showing the world the kind of cool shit that you do and like the company culture and like the real company culture, not just like fake posts all the time. Just get it out there. But that also goes both ways. Like I'll be totally honest. Like as soon as I get applicants, like say I get 100 applications, every single one of those I'm fucking Facebook stalking. Like I am looking your ass up, and like a strong amount of those fucking applicants get immediately rejected when I see the shit that you post on your Facebook page.
Yeah, it amazes me some of the things that people put on there, but I think that you're right. Your posts have to be authentic and organic. People can tell if you're faking it. And so whether it's your customers or potential employees or whoever it is that's looking and following you on social media, don't be fake, of course. Don't be like strategic about it. It has to be real. And so share real shit. And then people will see that your company culture is cool, or the things you're making are cool. And so a lot of these are kind of the same as the active, provide benefits, maintain. Reviews. I mean, that's good. Yeah. So if you're looking to work somewhere and then you go look and they have shitty reviews, well, that's no good.
Right.
Like if they're like 2 stars or whatever, and these guys are a bunch of jerks, well, then don't have that. Let's see. Environment, pay. What's a reverse search on Indeed? I don't know. Find people currently employed elsewhere in similar positions. And so then you go and that's interesting. And then you introduce yourself or something.
I've never done anything with Indeed, so I don't know.
I haven't either. But I know I was talking to somebody recently that said they do. They find, like, who was it? I want to say, I don't know. I can't remember, but they say they use Indeed and they literally post something and they get like 50 applicants in an hour. Quality, like qualified. I guess I asked them that. I said, are all 50 qualified? And they said something like half are.
I just feel like it's one of those things like we've talked about this before, but it's kind of like when I post to Facebook, the very first thing, and they don't realize it's a test, but the test is like, hey, if you want to apply, email me. Like, this is the way to contact me. And then I get like 30 Facebook messages and I'm like, well, you're already disqualified because I asked you to fucking email me.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Follow the directions.
Can you follow directions? But again, it's like I get an application and it's, like an application and a resume to me is just like hot garbage. Like
shred the resume.
They're just giving you like this ultra highlight reel of like, I'm the greatest person ever. And then you look up to your Facebook page and they're like ultra racist or something. And you're just like, what the hell?
Right. Yeah. I receive resumes, but they mean nothing to me. I want to meet you and I want to walk around the shop, give you a tour, and I want to have a conversation and I want to feel like your energy. I want to know.
The only thing I look at on a resume is their work history.
Mhm.
Because to me, that stands out a lot too, is like, how many jobs have you held in the last, whatever, 10
Right.
years or whatever it is? Like, one thing is if it's like the very first thing I look at in that job history, and I don't care
Mhm.
where you worked, it's the amount of time you've worked there.
It's true. It's important. Like were they there 3 months at each job? Or
Right.
were they there?
There's some where they've worked like 30 places, and every single one of them is like, I was there for 6 months. I was here for 8 months. I was here for a year and a half. It's like, why though? Like, why would I hire you if you're just going to be like, we're going to be the ones to break the mold where you work here for 10 years? I doubt it.
Right.
Like,
Right.
you'll work here for 8 months and leave. Like, why would I hire you?
Okay, moving on. Here's a good one. So, do you find it easier, harder, or the same to hire now as the same time last year? What do you think about this breakout?
I love how it's like
Um,
pretty even.
It's pretty even. So we have 41% say it's the same, 29.4 say it's harder, and 29.4 say it's easier. And so, what do you think? How did you answer this?
I feel like you shouldn't have necessarily said last year, because I feel like if you would have said pre-pandemic to post-pandemic, it would have been a lot different. Because I feel like
see.
since 2022, it's basically been the same.
Okay.
So I think that's where, again, like I've noticed a lot of change just
I
since
see what you're saying.
the shakeup, basically.
Okay, so I don't necessarily want to throw this out, but I find it
No, I
interesting.
think it's good. I mean, I think it's all dependent on the market too. Like I said, like what kind of employee are you looking to hire? Like, you just looking to hire randos to come in and pull shirts,
Mhm.
or are you looking for people that are like part of the team and like a career move and all this other stuff? So,
Right.
I think it's a good question.
I think it's
I feel like
interesting
we're all
that
in the same boat.
I like how I guess almost a third of the people say it's easier hiring right now than it was a year ago, because, personally, I think it's harder right now than it was a year ago. But anyway, let's move on. What does your human resource department look like? So the answers, it was multiple choice, 3 possible answers. The first one is, haha, I am HR. Number 2 is, we have a dedicated HR person in-house. And the other answer is, we outsource it. So 58.8% said, haha, I am HR. And that's me. And also that's you, right?
me.
You do all HR stuff. Yeah.
I think that's mostly because of the fact that the majority of shops out there are, small to mid-sized shops. None of us, I mean, a lot of us aren't the massive, like 30 auto shop. Like, that's like the 1%.
But
And I feel like those are the ones that are like, I have an HR department.
Sure. But I want to pause right here and point out that all of the stuff that we've been talking about are basically like HR issues or HR problems or HR things.
Oh yeah.
And we, as founders or owners of our shops, take all of that on. And so wouldn't it be wise, or, there's 20% or 20, it's actually equal. So 20.6 and 20.6 either have a dedicated HR person in-house or they outsource it. And so why aren't we doing that? Like, why aren't you and me outsourcing, knowing that, like, oh my gosh, I've got to, onboard this person and make sure I have their, tax returns, state and federal, and I got to make sure I have their banking, and I have to, whenever they come in here and they change their bank accounts, or if they change their tax status, or if they move, I have to update their address or whatever, all that stuff, right? We do that.
I think that what I would love to talk about at Long Beach and all this stuff is basically like, how did we think the job was before the pandemic, and then after the pandemic, and what are we learning from this change with society and employees? But also, should we gain knowledge on the way new things are happening and like make ourselves a better company? Like, we shouldn't just be stuck in our old ways and treat our employees the way they were treated before. Not necessarily saying that was bad, but I think that I would love to, it's kind of the same as our conversation with the whole like taxes and like S Corp and like your accountant and all this stuff. It's like, I was so ignorant to all that stuff for so long that now I'm educating myself and I feel better about things because I know these things. So it's like, if we can gather information from like the survey and from like other people and just our own experiences and talk to these people and be like, hey, this is what it is. This is how we grew. This is how we failed. This is how we succeeded. And then maybe the end all be all is, once you get to a certain point, hire out HR, but be knowledgeable to where you can handle the majority of it in-house with yourself, or know why HR did what they did.
Yeah. So you're saying
that's what I would like.
Okay.
I would like to know all this shit. Like, I would like to know like how to better treat my employees and how to, basically the one thing I found out over the last year with like changing the guard here and like management and, like I said, hiring, firing, all this other stuff is just like, people want respect. Like, they don't want to just be like, there's this Mad Men thing that I have saved on my phone, and like me and Jared have sent it back and forth to each other a couple of times, where it's like, and I haven't watched all of Mad Men, so I don't know, but I'm pretty sure the dude's name's Don Draper. Basically, the girl who is like the head of it, or not the head of it, like his receptionist or whatever she is, I don't remember. She comes in his office and she's just like, oh, I wanted, credit for my ideas and all this other stuff. And he just screams at her and it's just like, that's what you're fucking paid for, basically. Like, I had that mentality before of like, yeah, I hired you, do your job. Like this is why I pay you. But I feel like, again, now it's more the respect and like the praise to that person of like, you are a fucking person, and I'm just the same kind of person as fucking my workers. Just because I own the place doesn't mean I'm like a better human.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah, I think there's been a big shift, and I think that this is a great opportunity for both employers and employees to change how our day-to-day is. And so I don't think we have to be so against each other. I think that you can, I view my job here as to support my team. That's as a leader, I need to support them. Who needs help and how can I help them? And they don't work for me, I work for them. And so if there's a shift, if you really truly believe that, I think that it's just a way better day. It's a way better place to work. And they're not showing up working for, the man or whatever, the asshole. So the next question we have is, on a scale of 1 to 5, 5 being extremely important, how important do you feel HR is to attracting and retaining a solid team? And so we have, I'll read off the percentages really fast. So there's one person said, I'm sorry. Oh, 7.
It's pretty even. It's even like all the way across.
Yeah, you're right. It's basically even. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And so, here we are talking about HR as far as attracting, somebody that wants to work at your shop, and then also retaining people at your shop. I think HR is incredibly important. Personally, I think it's a 5. I'm going to answer 5. Mm-hmm. Personally, because it's probably the most important thing.
I'm finding that out. And I've always said too, like when people ask like, what's the hardest part about owning a business? It's never the work. It's always people. Like, my answer to that question is people. Like, if I knew, and again, this is being harsh, but like, if I knew what I knew now when I was deciding to start a business, I would, the hardest thing I would think about is how I would want to hire and fire or have employees at all. Or if I would just want to fucking be myself in my basement in my underwear and outsource shit. Mm-hmm. Because dealing with people all day long is like the hardest thing. So, and that's literally HR's job, is just dealing with people.
Right.
So yeah, it's extremely important.
I think it's extremely important for all the reasons we've been talking about, and we will continue to talk about. And so let's move to the next question. So we have, on a scale of 1 to 5, 5 being exceptional, how good is your HR department in terms of creating company culture?
And the majority is right in the middle at number 3.
Right in the middle. I think I'm there too. Maybe a little higher than, I'd either be a 3 or a 4, I think, because we could always do better in this department. That's for sure. I hear about like people, going to like baseball games or going to the movie. Like you say, you go to the movie with you play video games and there's a video game night and stuff. And
yeah,
like,
but how much of that is HR?
I think that's HR. I think, if HR is under the umbrella of, hey, we're just creating company culture. I think let me break it down like this. I think HR has two responsibilities. I was talking about this with Tiny Fish. I think it has a responsibility of creating and maintaining a company culture. And then it also has this formality of like creating and maintaining like company records and rules. You know what I mean? Like, here's the employee handbook and here's what we're going to do. So I think it's both. I think there's both components that fall under human resources.
Yeah. I think when I honestly hear HR, I think about people that are there to go to for, like the keeping the records together and, employee, whatever. But it's a lot of like just hearing people out that have issues, or
exactly
there's an issue between two employees, like all these other things. And I think, I want to say this as it's vulnerable, but like, I feel like for so long, I was very like, we have a good company culture, but I hate the word because it sounds fake if you say it out loud. Like if you're like, oh, we have company culture and like all this stuff. It's like, I don't want to think about it as company culture. This is just us. This is just how we are. Like I was never like creating a fucking company culture. It's just, you work here for the dudes and the dudettes that fucking work here. And we're all just like, we get along and we like to do the same shit. To me, that's company culture. But the thing is like, if you are fucking butting heads and arguing at each other, company culture goes out the window because everyone fucking hates each other.
What did I do?
So if you have HR or me or whatever, and everyone comes to my office with their problems, like so-and-so's being a dick, then I have to talk to both of them and tell them to basically like fucking shake hands, kiss and make up. So
right.
To me, when I hear HR, is just like handling those issues.
And you always make a good point that and we just said this like a few questions ago too, and that is you can't fake, just like you shouldn't be faking social media. You should be authentic and real. The same thing goes for company culture. You can't just say, oh, we're going to go hunt on a deer hunting, retreat, and then, trust fall or whatever while we're there and bullshit like that, like you would see on The Office or something. And so it has to be real. And I think that's important. And you're right. You're just being you, and you're just being real. You're being your shop. And I think that's, people can see through if you're lying or if you're being fake. And so you're right about that. But I think that creating company culture, I think that, part of company culture is little things too, just the very little things. And so like, not just when somebody comes in my office or two people, let's say, and they're not getting along, but just even if one person comes in and says, Andy, we start at 8, but I have to take my kids to school and I drop them off right at 8. And if I take them there earlier, they charge me $50 a day for daycare or whatever it is. Is there any way I can come and just like be here at 8:20? And if like, does that matter? And I'll take a 20-minute shorter lunch or something. And if I say yes to that, that's huge to them. It saves them the money every day. And then it's just like being flexible. And that's sort of what I mean, is that I think that's an important for you to be flexible. You can't just be concrete and like every single rule. You have to listen to people. Everything. Yeah, you have to listen to people in their situations and say, oh, well, we can be flexible with this. You're fantastic. We want you to be here. We want you to work here. And so we can change this a little bit. Next question. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
On a scale of 1 to 5, 5 being exceptional, how good is your HR department in terms of filing all of the necessary legal docs and keeping employee records?
Oh, everyone, this is such horseshit.
13 people said they're 5s.
Yeah, fuck you.
But maybe they have, okay, so there are some people that said that they do outsource HR, like they have a company, not full-time, but just you have this part-time once a week or once a month person that makes sure that you're dotting your I's and crossing your T's, or dotting your T's and crossing your I's. And so maybe that's true. I don't know. But I think that I do a pretty good job, but I'm probably a fucking 3.
I feel like I live in permanent stress and fear that some government agency is going to kick in my door one of these days and just be like, give me all your records. And I'm going to
show you an example right now. I'm going to show you an example right now.
I mean, I have like,
check this out,
the bulk of what's needed, but I know there's like a million things you're supposed to have, and I don't. Current
employees I-9s. Like, you have to have all of their I-9s, current employees, social security, driver's license, and
Yeah,
form
I have
filled out.
that.
Yeah, but
that's
a
like
lot of people don't.
That's I know, but I'm saying that to me is like that's what I had, the majority of what I have. Like, I know you're supposed to have all these other documents, and I just learned like 2 years ago, you're supposed to have this form, at least in New York, that basically is an agreement between you and the employee of like their wages and like,
Oh, really?
all these other things. Yeah. Like, I have to have a sheet that basically, like, when they're hired, says you're going to be making this much money per hour. This is your money if it's overtime. This is all this other stuff, and signed by both parties, so that like they know and you know that what they're compensated for. And it was like, I didn't fucking know that. I don't know if that's a new thing. So now I have to have that with that. And then it's like, I know there's a bunch of other, like, I know you're supposed to have like, this is a separate topic, but I know you did it, is like all these like posters out to show like
Minimum wage and stuff.
employee rights and like all these,
Oh,
just other things. I'm like, I don't fucking have half that shit.
Yeah. So, I mean, and if let's say somebody comes in and you don't have that, or you don't have an I-9, you're fined that stuff. And so this is really important. I think HR is often overlooked because, like we talk about all the time, we're just a bunch of doofuses. We start printing t-shirts in our garage or wherever we do for our band. And next thing we know, we've got 20 employees. And how do we get there? I don't know. So anyway, next question. Do you send a formal job proposal to potential new hires? I think I really love this question because I think it's important. I think it sets the tone. It starts off your relationship. You're right away with like what's expected and from both people. You know what I'm saying? So here, we're going to compensate you for this. We're going to, you're eligible for group health. It's when, and you just like spell all that out and you send it to them. If they're looking at different job proposals and they get one, and we don't send one, and it's just a verbal, like, yeah, show up on Monday if you want to work here. I don't think that's very professional. And so that's why I say this is really important. And I have a standard form. What are you laughing at? I have
That's
a standard
fucking
one.
what we do. You want to work here, show up on Monday. Like,
well, that's no good, Dylan. And so
no, I'm just saying, like, once they're here, it's like, okay. And you want it. I don't give them any paperwork or anything that says like, the employee handbook or any of this shit until their trial week's over. Like, number
that's
one fucking thing is
that's different.
Number one thing is, are you going to vibe with us?
Yeah, I don't send a job proposal on their trial day. We just do a trial day. It's just like an interview, and if after the trial day, we get thumbs up, well, then I'll say, okay, I'll send you a job proposal, and so
yeah,
I think that's the right way to do it. And I have a template that I can share that I'm sure I've shared with you already, and that you should send your potential new hires. And so let's go to the next question though. Next question is, do you have any type of formal company orientation so that when they get there, their first day, they're given a tour and they get to find out where the coffee is and the restrooms and who's what and where's shipping and receiving and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah. Here, if you're listening and not watching, it's pretty evenly distributed, I would say. About a third say yes, of course. A third said no, and a third said sometimes.
I was in the sometimes category, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, so it's not exactly distributed like that, but
I think when we talked about this originally, when we were looking at the draft for this, was, what do you mean by formal? Because like for me, it's like if you're hired in the office, it's just usually who's available in the office to be like, hey, show them the ropes or like walk them around and like introduce all the people and whatever else. So I don't have like a fucking notebook of like, this is how you give someone an orientation. It's just kind of like, what area do you work in and who's going to show you around?
I think why I use the word formal is because instead of just like when you get there and you show up, it's your first day, you're nervous, it's your first day at a place and there's 20 something people there, or even if there's just 10 people there, you don't know what to do. And so it's really great when somebody says, hey, my name is Andy and come follow me, and they show you around. And so I think that, it makes you feel welcome at a place. And so I always like to do a formal orientation. It doesn't have to take that long, but just show them around the whole shop, not just here, come back to your department and then start working. Did I sound like a robot? I tried to. All right, next question. Yeah. Do you have a documented training plan from start date through the first 30 days for every position? And the The
The
answer
overwhelming majority is no, but I should.
nobody should. The other option is no. Look, if they can't figure it out, then they don't belong here. And then the other answer is yes. I love the four. How many people is 14% of that? So 5 people actually have a documented training plan for every position. So we have some. And when we were like, just like talking about this question, I think we were kind of, I wasn't sure if we were going to put 30 days or 15 days because I have a 2-week plan for like some of the departments, but not really 30 days. But as like we discussed it, I thought, it's fucking important. Like you should have, like when you get somewhere, you should say, hey, here's kind of like a syllabus. And for these next 30 days, here's what you're going to work on. Week 1, you're going to like work on this. And week 2, you're going to work on that. And we expect these sort of things, until you get to the next 30, I guess the 4th week or 30 days. I would really love that if I was going to start somewhere and going to work somewhere. And I think that we should provide that. And I think that the majority said that they agreed with us. And so it's like 22 people said, no, but I should. Cool.
Yeah, I agree.
Move on. All right. So do you have an organizational structure that is known and available in like a chart form for your entire team that just sort of spells out like who's at the top and then who are the managers and so on? Like, do you know who to go to?
This is a no, but you should as well kind of thing.
Right. So it's either yes or no. It's kind of evenly split. 45% said no and 54.5% said yes. And so we had never had one, and we worked on one earlier this year. And
do you have an actual like visual of that though?
Yeah. Yeah.
See, that's what I was thinking. If there was some kind of like wall whiteboard thing almost where it was like the fucking structure of things and like who you are and where you land and who you report to.
Mm-hmm. So we don't have that. Cool. I have it, and then we made it, but we didn't post it on a whiteboard, and we need to, and we should, because I think that's important, isn't it? Because I've heard a lot of times like, well, I didn't know who to call, or I didn't know who my manager was. Or I've also had people that think they're the manager or something and they're not. And so I think that's important.
Or even like managerial, like contact information.
Yeah. Moving on. Do you forecast your business to be up, down, or flat in 2024? This is a fucking really interesting question. And more interesting, I guess, is the answer. So 84% said up, baby.
I feel like this is a lot of hope.
6% said down, dude. And then 9% said flat is cool. I mean, it's nice to be optimistic.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. This is 100% people being optimistic.
I don't know. I mean, I think it's interesting because my answer is flat is cool. Like I would be happy just to do exactly what we did last year. I don't want to be down, Yeah,
you never want to be down, but I think the truth of it is like, again, like since the pandemic, it's just kind of been so willy-nilly.
It has.
Like I remember we could almost forecast to the day of like when things would slow down and when things were going to be insane.
Not anymore.
For like 10 years.
Yeah, that's all.
Now that it's out the window. So fucking gone. It's like, oh, cool. This is what summer is. Like February 15th on. It's going to be fucking insane until November. And now it's like, it's shot in the dark.
Yeah, it is pretty wild. All right. So how much would you be willing to expense annually to either bring in-house or outsource HR? And the answers were 0, 500 per employee, or 1,000 per employee. This answer I had, I changed to 0, and I didn't realize we tested it. We tested it, and as I wouldn't pay anything, I changed it to 0, and it just kept that. We tested only one person, and that was our test. But so I guess this is pretty evenly split too. Like a third said they wouldn't want to pay anything for HR. A third said they'd pay 500. A third said they'd pay 1,000, basically. And
when I see these like even spreads, I'm just picturing someone's shoulder shrugging at me. I'm like, what do you mean? What do you think of this? And they're just like, oh. Well, if like you have a sample group of whatever we have here, like 30 something people, and it's even across the board, it's just who fucking knows what the right answer is if it's evenly spread?
Well, you're saying this doesn't really tell us what to do?
This doesn't tell us anything.
It tells us what people are doing. And I think that, after you and I talking about all of our HR issues and also answering the questions like, hey, are we well documented? And we're saying, oh, not really. And this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you pay, even just pick the middle number, $500 per employee just to have your shit covered?
I think that the amount that we've talked about this, because we want to kind of dive into this more, I feel like I really want to figure my own shit out, but I think I do want to hire it out to a degree. Just because there's so much shit I don't know. Like, you don't know what you don't know. And then when shit happens or shit hits the fan, you're kind of fucked because you don't have those documents. You don't have all these things. It's like, I don't want to, I know this one is kind of like money based, but like, I, again, want to have someone in my back pocket that I can call and be like, what do we do? Or what's the expertise here?
All right. We're almost done here. I'll just go through this fast. 3 things you do to retain current employees. Our examples are 401k, PTO, fancy break room snacks. So,
well, I heard them all as an answer. Yeah.
Fired them all. We pay weekly and everyone has flexibility. We are every 2 weeks. It's hard enough doing that. And so, so simple IRA match, vision, dental, quarterly bonus, PTO, overtime opportunities, quarterly company lunches, holiday party.
Flexible schedules within reason. I have a whole thing I want to talk about that, but I don't want to get into it now.
Okay.
It's basically about how, like, if you treat them like adults, they'll act like adults.
True. I agree.
Which I want to test. Annual bonuses and raises, flexibility again, yummy snacks, culture, a lot of 401ks in there, snacks. Basically give people extra money in snacks seems to be the consensus.
Although the memes you see about the pizza and people are like, we don't care.
Yeah, they do. We've always, I definitely see those memes. We've always been big on food. Like, I feel like the majority of the money I spend to like keep people happy here is almost always on food. Like the snacks, or just like getting pizza or grilling on Wednesdays, or we were doing Thursdays, movie night and steaks and all sort of stuff. And it's like, it's not necessarily all right, I'm going to take this back a little bit. The food is good to a degree, but I feel like getting together and hanging out is almost always involves food. And the getting together and hanging out is the majority of the important part of it. Like, even if you're not like, the thing is we're not working. Like, just grilling Wednesdays of like, say everyone's busy in the summer and we're out crushing, we're trying to do a ton of shirts, but just have that lunch break to sit out on the back deck with the sun shining and we're grilling and we're not talking about t-shirts at all. Like, Zach's talking about some movie he watched last night and these guys are talking about video games and these guys are talking about whatever. It's like just time to like get to know your fellow worker and be like, shoot the shit.
I agree.
Having food as a conduit between that is like really good.
A few more. We've got our keep a relaxed work environment. Celebrate employee birthdays. We do that. Atmosphere pay. They have a rewards program, which we don't. I know that's complicated, but it sounds actually really nice.
I looked into that, and basically all the people that said that it did it to a degree kind of like caused resentment.
Oh, really? All right. We have a couple more, I think 2 more questions. 1, did you invest in automating any part of your shop last year? And we have 88.2% said yes, and 11.8 said no. And the next question is will you be investing in automating any part of your shop next year? And we have 67.6 saying yes, 11.8 says no, and 17 are undecided. They're a maybe. We did. So last year, let's see, we did the squeegee washer. So we had like the, what was it? The Crystal Clean squeegee washer, and we upgraded to the M&R, and it fucking rips ass. It's like awesome.
Yeah. Like you probably shouldn't say rips ass, but.
What do I say? Yeah, that's the wrong way to say it.
That just makes you sound like you just had a hard fart or something. I
Well,
think
yeah. It rips.
this fucking rips ass, dude.
Mm.
I think it's twofold. Like, I think it's one, employers, part of them, like 50% is I want to invest in automation because I can't rely on employees and I want to make it to where I can get things done with a machine to a degree and the human factor isn't so much of it. And the other part is automating to make the employee's job more tolerable or easier or, make the work environment better. Like the big one we always talk about is auto reclaim.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
think about
No doubt.
how much better that person's job is with auto reclaim. Like that person's still necessary, but it's way better than scrubbing and having chemicals in your face all day long.
Right. Totally.
So
There's lots of places to automate. I don't just mean like in production too. You can automate.
Right.
Well, we're going to talk to somebody next week about AI. You can have different sort of automations, not just in what did I say? Oh, production. So that's basically it. We created that survey to get an idea of just to collect some data and to have an idea of what we're going to be talking about and discussing what's important at our seminar. Remember to sign up for that and come hang out with us. I only have 3 more things before we go. And that is just an overrated, underrated, properly rated.
Well, just to reiterate at the end of this, to wrap it up a little bit, it is we are trying to lean on people who listen to the show and have experiences. Like, I don't want it to be the Dylan Andy, this is the way or the highway kind of thing. Again, part of the reason why you want to do the survey is to kind of feel everybody out. But there's a lot of things we talked about that we want to do at the seminar too, of like, just finding out best practices in these things to show that we're all learning and that we're all on the same page and we want to make it better for us as owners, but also for the employees. Like, I would love to figure this thing out and like be enlightened and know this is how the labor force is now and this is how we can make it better for everybody. And my employees have a fucking rad life and they're paid well and all these things are met. So we're going to try to figure this out and we're going to talk about it. So if you want to come figure it out for yourself too, or just hear things, if you're an employee and not an employer, then come hang out.
Well said. Well put. I think that our format is that I think we'll talk for a half hour and then we'll just open it up to discussion and Q&A. And so we're going to try and come up with a bunch of like a group think. Oh, that's a terrible way to say it.
A think tank.
Think tank. Yeah. Is that it? Anything else before we go? Before we do overrated, I should say.
I have a lot of things, but I want to save it for the talk. So,
okay. All right. We just have 3 of these and I'll kick it off with daylight savings time.
Fuck it.
Fuck it.
End it.
Gosh, do I hate it. Yeah. Like I don't think I'll ever get used to it. I don't like it. Melatonin. So I have these little melatonin chocolates right now that I started taking about 10 days ago. Just one.
Are they giving you crazy dreams?
I don't think so. Maybe. Is that what happens to you?
I took melatonin for a little while because I was having trouble sleeping. This was back before the CPAP and all this other stuff. And I don't like the idea of taking substances that my body already makes and relying on it and like getting dependent on it. Mm-hmm. So for a while I was only taking them when I knew my mind was racing, but I knew I had to get up at like 4 a.m. for a flight or something.
Right.
Like I would be like, I need sleep now. I'm going to bed at 8.
So you're not going to take it on a regularly every day. Like
do not take it every day. Yeah. And the other weird part about this as a parent is I know sketchy parents that like just give their kids melatonin every night because they're just like, go to fucking sleep. And it's like, dude, you're not doing good by your kids by giving them fucking melatonin every night. Like I've done it once in a while, but it's more again, like the kids are crazy and they're having trouble going to sleep. It's fucking 2 a.m. and they're still like, I can't sleep, Dad. I can't sleep. I'm like, hey, I've got some melatonin if you want some, but I'm not giving it to my kids every night before bed.
You're a good dad.
My thing that I'm into now for sleep help is a weed pen.
What is that?
Or a gummy.
Oh, weed. Okay.
Weed or a gummy. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think that's really good option and it's natural. And like you said, it's not something your body makes. And so, let's say you're taking melatonin and you just take it for a year. Well, then maybe your body makes less. And so you come off of melatonin and you would then not have enough.
Up.
Yeah. So that's a bad idea. But like you said, I've been having with this whole surgery thing, my sleep was way out of whack and I needed sleep and I had some insomnia for reasons that I'm not going to mention. And I decided, I'm going to start just 1 milligram, just one little, because some people take way more than that. And it just has helped. But you make a very, very good point, and I don't want to get to a point where I'm like taking it on a daily basis. And so I've probably maybe had my last one. The next is kind of has to do with melatonin, but it's different. Sleepy tea. It's like an herbal drink to help relax.
No, I've never taken one.
Well, is it overrated then? Or you don't know? Well, if you never take one, you don't know.
I think if it's tea and it's just like, I think this is again like a whole other thing of me changing my life over the last year. I've gone through a lot of personal things. For those who actually know me, like know me, know that like there's been a lot of fucking things in my life in 2023 that are different. And one of the things I've been really trying to get more and more into is as much like natural things in my body or natural things to improve myself, the better. So if this tea is like a natural thing, fucking hell yeah. Like I spent an hour or more the other day looking into the best natural toothpaste. Like it's shit like that now I'm like, what am I putting in my, like for years and years, it's like, oh, I want this toothpaste because it's got fucking sparkle strip through the middle of it. Like what's in this thing? Like what am I putting in my body and like all this other stuff? So like,
right.
That's where I'm at with a lot of this stuff.
I'm proud of you.
Like, what are these weird chemicals?
I think that's important. I'm proud of you. Sleepy tea is just some tea that helps you chill. And I never really drank it until I guess the past few weeks. And Joanne makes me one and Joanne makes herself one. We just have tea before we go to bed. And you're a big tea guy. I figured you might also like that.
Yeah. And that's something that's funny too. Like, I've been thinking more and more about another business to get into. And we talked when you weren't here about how I kind of want to do buttons again, but that's in the same vein. But I kind of want to start. I was talking about starting a soda company, but I also want to like get into tea, like maybe just do like a bottled or a canned like iced tea, like have my own iced tea brand.
I'd buy it
just for fun. So,
all right,
maybe
dude.
someday soon.
Well, this has been great. It's great to see you.
I fucking love that you're back.
Thank you.
I missed you so much. And while you were gone, I realized how important this show is to me and my mental health and the industry as far as like just working shit out. You know what I mean? Like when you left, overwhelmingly, there were people being like, I would love to guest host. I would love to get in on this like fucking weekly therapy bullshit. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And it's real. Like it's real, dude. Like so many people listen to the show or whatever just because it helps them realize that their shit is the same as everybody else's shit.
Yeah.
And I'm fucking glad you're back.
I'm really glad to be back. This is the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. It was the hardest year, the most challenging year of my life. And I don't want to end on a sad note, but it's been
not sad at all.
Yeah. So I'll just leave it at that. Probably. It's been really tough. I'm glad to be where I'm at. I've come a long way, and it's just great fucking to be back. For sure.
It sucks that happened to you, but you're fucking stronger now.
Yeah.
And you will be even
almost
better. Well, before your back issue, not to sound shitty, but like everybody who knows you is like, what fucking tea or what does this guy eat? Like, does he Fountain of Youth fucking swim every day? Like, what is happening? So it's nice to hear that you're like a human being and like you're normal, you know what I mean? But now you're even stronger than you were before, so it's even scarier.
Yeah. Well,
so Hey,
cheers to that. And I love you. And
love you.
are we going to kiss like this? What are we going to do? Oh, I don't have anything. So
Whatever. Hey, love you, bud. I'll see you in a couple days.
all right, deal.
Later.